Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you hear noises, it's my dog walking around behind me. But today I'm gonna be doing my May book haul. Yeah, it's gonna be a big one because May is my birthday month, and I did get a lot of these as gifts, but also too I splurged a little because it's my birthday. I got some pretty good deals, so it wasn't like too expensive on a lot of these. I have read a lot of these, not all of them. I'm working my way through them, but I have read some. So we have a lot to talk about, and oh, my battery's low. I'm gonna get right into it and see how far I can go. This is in no particular order. I tried my best remembering when I got them, but I honestly just like wrote down the ones I got in May, so they're in no particular order. The first one is Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto. This one sounds really good. I've heard really good things about it. It's kind of like a rom-com murder mystery thing. It's really interesting. I've never heard that before. So this girl goes on a date, and she accidentally ends up killing her blind date, and her mother calls her meddlesome aunties, and they help get rid of the body, but the body proves to be a lot more challenging to dispose of than they might have anticipated. And they accidentally shipped in a cake cooler to this billionaire wedding that they're working at on this island resort, and you know, they're trying to deal with this while working the wedding. And then she also bumps into her great college love, and biggest heartbreak, and so we're also following that and seeing that in here, and it just seems like a fun read. Like, when I saw like she accidentally killing her blind date, that was what intrigued me. And it's also kind of like a rom-com, but also like a murder mystery, so I'm like down for that. So I can't wait to read this. I haven't read it yet, but I want to read it soon. The next one I got was this Grimm's Fairy Tales, the Brothers Grimm, this edition. This book is so gorgeous. It was on sale. I had to get it as a Barnes & Noble's classic editions, the hardcover ones. Alright, so my camera stopped recording because the card was full, so let's try this again. I don't know where I left off, but I got the Fairy Tales, Grimm's Fairy Tales by the Brother Grimms. This is the Barnes & Noble's exclusive classics editions, and it's the hard one, not the soft bound cover. It has a ribbon bookmark, and it's just so cute. It has like these like gilded silver edges, and it's just so pretty. It has pictures, I don't know, like right there. It's so pretty. Yeah, I have this. So I wanted to get into mangas, and so I bought a couple mangas. Spy X Family by, I'm not even trying to say that name because I know I'm gonna into this anyway. Excuse my dog. He's going crazy because he sees a dog outside. But yeah, I got Spy X Family. I'm not going to try to pronounce that name because I know I'm going to butcher it. Really good. I read this one. Recommend. I can't wait to continue. I'm sorry he's being so loud. Dude, shut up. But yeah, I really want to continue with this. After that, I got Tokyo Ghoul Volume 1 because I've heard really good things about this, and I wanted to check it out, and I really liked it. And I got the second volume, which I can just show right now, honestly, since they're doing mangas. I got Volume 2 after I read Volume 1, and it's so good so far. I'm actually wearing a Tokyo Ghoul shirt right now. I haven't read the second one yet, but I will get to that right away. And the next manga I bought was Death Note Volume 1, the Black Edition. I don't have it with me right now. It's downstairs because I was reading it. But yeah, I'm in the middle of reading it. It's so good. My brother recommends me checking out the anime, which I really wanted to do, but I wanted to read the manga first, kind of have like the, you know, some kind of basics of it first. But yeah, so I'm reading that, and then after that I'm going to start the anime. My brother really loves the anime, so I can't wait to watch that. Then after that, this was around Mother's Day. Me and my mom took a trip up to Austin, which is only like an hour and a half drive from where I live. We went there because we just haven't been out because of COVID, so we wanted to kind of like go out, have like a little road trip, and we love going to Austin because we just like have seen like a lot of like these shopping strips or shopping areas that we love to go to, And there's this one, I think it's like the Dominion or something like that. It's owned by the same people that own the Tanger outlets in San Marcos, the Simon thing, I don't know. Which is also owned by a mall that we have here in San Antonio, I think. I think it's New Brown. But anyway, we went there and it's so cute. Like, it's like a little, it kind of reminds me of like California-esque a little bit, but a little different. I don't know. It's just really cute. And they have an Amazon books store there, and I love going there. I really want to go there. And since we are Amazon Prime members, we get the discounted price in person. As long as we show them that we're Prime, we get it. So actually this one we went to Barnes & Noble's first, which was the supplement that we like because it's really pretty. Barnes & Noble's. I ended up getting Leviathan Wakes. Is it James Esquire or James Corey or something? I don't know. I'll put it up right here. I don't have it in my room because I was also kind of reading that before I go to bed. And I read like the beginning of it, and I watched like the first episode of the show just because it is kind of a higher sci-fi, and I'm still new to sci-fi. I love it, but I'm still new to it. And so I was trying to like, I was getting kind of confused on certain stuff, so that's why I watched the show, the first episode, just because I only read like the first few chapters. And I watched the show, the first one, and it kind of, I guess, helped me kind of see the whole picture better, kind of understand it better. And so now I'm ready to like continue and then watch the episodes. But yeah, so far really good. I've heard good things about it. It's a big series, so I can't wait to continue with it. Then we get into the books I got at Amazon Books. First one being Hench by Natalie Zena Scott. I don't know if I pronounced it right. I'm so sorry. I saw Riley Marie read this on her channel when she did like a certain kind of video for it, and she seemed to really like it, and I trust her opinions. She has read a lot of books that she loved that I ended up reading that I liked or loved, so I want to read this. Plus, it sounds so good. It's technically like a villain's origin story in a way, and kind of how even though the superheroes or good guys are so-called good guys, are they really though, or do they like use that power, you know, kind of abuse it in a way because they know they're good, so they can get away with a lot of things. It's kind of why I've loved Renegades by Marissa Meyer, because it kind of had that same concept between like morals and like black and white in the gray area. And just because you're the superheroes or good and you save lives doesn't mean that everything you do is good too. Like, especially what they were about to do with a lot of the prisoners, a lot of the bad guys, like, and then you see the arch enemies, the bad guys, how they just wanted these people who had powers to live a better life, to not be like people picked on or like bullied or just people hated because they have powers. And the Renegades only chose certain ones, but not all of them, so the other ones were still outcasted. And it was just like a really good book, and so I'm hoping this one has a good like kind of commentary with that too, with like good guys, bad guys, the moral, that gray area, all that, like, yeah, black and white stuff. I've heard really good things about this, and I can't wait to read it. The next one I also got at Amazon Books was Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. I have been so interested in reading this about Norse mythology because I love Thor and Loki and Odin and all of that, and I know that's Norse mythology. I can't say that word, so I'm sorry if I'm butchering Norse mythology so much. And this one I'm told is a good like way it's written, because it's not just like giving you the facts, it's also kind of like, I guess, told in like a story, but also too with the facts of it. And I know like there's different versions or different like, because it's mythology, so you know, and I know Greek mythology a little bit better, but I don't really know Norse mythology just from what I've seen in like Marvel, but it doesn't really tell you much, and I've heard some other stuff elsewhere. But I can't wait to read this and find out more. It shows more about Odin, about Loki. I love Loki. About Thor, because he's supposed to be different in here in Norse mythology than he is in Marvel. He's supposed to be more like cocky and arrogant and stuff like that. Which, I mean, he was like that in the beginning of Thor, but then he changed. So, yeah, I don't know if he's still like that. Yeah, I can't wait to read this and learn some stuff about Norse mythology because that seems interesting to me. Last one I got at Amazon Books was one I've been wanting to get because it's such a pretty edition, but it's so expensive everywhere else. Finally got it for cheaper, and that is Dune by Frank Herbert. This is the pretty edition with the sprayed edges. I've also been wanting to read Dune before the movie came out, which I think is either out or coming out soon. And this is chunker, so I don't know if I'll get to it by then, but I do want to read it before I do watch it. So if it does come out, I might just wait on it until I read this, or maybe I'll watch it so that way I can have, like, you know, kind of some knowledge going into this, because I feel like this might be a little confusing. My camera kept on cutting out again, so I don't know how much you've heard of that. But I want to get to this, but I'm scared because it's an older sci-fi, a heavier sci-fi, so maybe watch the movie first before I read this. I don't know, but hopefully I'll get to it soon. So I know this is the middle of the video, but I had to switch cameras because my camera that I use for filming, the battery died, and I don't have time to charge it because I want to film this now and get it over with. I have good lighting, so I'm using my vlogging camera, my smaller camera. So if the quality or noise has changed in any way, that's probably why. I was just talking about Marion Lane and the Midnight Murders. I'm just gonna read the synopsis because it sounds pretty interesting. Where was I? Okay, so it says here, late one night in April 1958, a filing assistant for Miss Brickett's named Michelle White receives a letter warning her that a heinous act is about to occur. She goes to investigate but finds the room empty. At the stroke of midnight, she is murdered by a killer she can't see. Her death, the only sign she wasn't alone. It becomes chillingly clear that the person responsible must also work for Miss Brickett's, making everyone a suspect. Almost unwillingly, Marion Lane, a first-year inquirer in training, finds herself being drawn ever deeper into the investigation. When her colleague is framed for the crime, to clear his name she must sort through the hidden alliances at Miss Brickett's and secrets dating back to World War II. Masterful, clever, and deliciously suspenseful, Marion Lane and the Midnight Murder is a fresh take on the Agatha Christie-style locked room mystery, with an exciting new heroine detective at the helm. So, love that. It's pretty short too. Sounds interesting when I'm in my other mood for mysteries, which I feel like it could be coming on soon, but we'll see. Then after that, I got The Paris Spy for $95 by Susan Elia McNeil. So I just found out this is part of a series, and I don't know, I just got it because this is spy. I like spy stuff, but I will try to be reading it from the beginning so I kind of have, like, know the background information, but it does seem like it's one of those type of series where you can just pick up in, like, the middle of a book, or, like, you know, in the series, and you can still be okay reading it that way. But I personally don't like that, because even though it's okay to do that, reading it from the beginning, it still has, like, throughout the whole series, you understand it a little better because it still talks about stuff that happened in the past, but not a lot to where people who haven't read it are a little confused. But I don't know how to explain it, but I just prefer to read from the beginning if I am going to. So we'll see if I get to this. If not, I will get rid of it. And again, along the lines of that, I have Murder at Blackwater Bend by Clara McKenna. So I just found out that I actually had, I don't know if this is the first or second, but whichever one, I had the next one on my Kindle, or my iPad with the Kindle app. So this is the first book. I have the second book on my iPad, and if this is the second book, then I have the first book on my iPad. I forget which order it is in, but I have the other one on my iPad, and I realized that it's part of the series. I just got this, and I kind of like the cover, so that's why I got it. I just like these illustrated covers, and I like one set in this time period. It's like a murder mystery, so I'm here for it all the way. And along the lines of that, these are more modern. So the first one I have here is None Shall Sleep by Ella Marney. This one, it was blurbed as right here, a YA Silence of the Lambs that blew me away with its staring premise, gripped me with its twists and turns, and kept me up all night until its stunning conclusion. Marnie brings a serial killer thriller to YA with riveting suspense and sizzling style. Don't read this book in the dark. So as soon as I saw YA Silence of the Lambs, I was hooked. I love Silence of the Lambs. If you haven't seen it, it's an older one, like 80s movies, but it's so good. And they just created a show called Clarice, who follows the main character from the movie Clarice, kind of after the ordeal that followed the movie. So it's weird because the movie was made back in the 80s and the show is just recently, but it's supposed to be set after the events of that, like right after, so still back in the 80s. And of course we don't have the same actress because of course it's been years and she's older now, but I mean, they did a really good job picking her because she still looks and like sounds kind of like her. But anyway, I just love the movie. Silence of the Lambs is so good. I love this cover too. It's so bloody. So I love it. I can't wait to read it. So basically, it is set also in the 80s, just like Silence of the Lambs. It says 1982, Quantico, Virginia. Two teenagers, serial killer survivor Emma Lewis and U.S. Marshal candidate Travis Bell are recruited by the FBI to interview convicted juvenile killers and provide insight on cold cases. From the start, Emma and Travis develop a quick friendship, convincing juvenile murderers to talk when even the FBI can't get them to crack. But when the team is called in to give advice on an active case, serial killer who exclusively hunts teenagers, everything begins to unravel. Working against the clock, they must turn to one of the country's most notorious incarcerated murderers for help, teenage sociopath Simon Gutmanson. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Despite Travis's objections, Emma becomes the conduit between Simon and the FBI. But while Simon seems to be giving them the information they need to save lives, he's an expert manipulator playing a very long game, and he has his sights set on Emma. Captivating, harrowing, and chilling, None Shall Sleep is an all-too-timely exploration of not only the monsters that live among us, but also the monsters that live inside of us. So this really is reminiscent of Silence of the Lambs, because in the movie, you have main character Clarice, who is in the FBI. She is a profiler. Criminal minds stuff. Anyway, yeah, she's a profiler and she's helping out on this case of the serial killer who's called Buffalo Bill, and he basically kills these women and like skins them or something. Sorry if that's a too much. So she has to go and see a certain psychopath in jail, and it's Hannibal Lecter. So she goes and talks to Hannibal Lecter because he has, for some reason, knows who Buffalo Bill is or something. So she's trying to like talk to him, get information out of him. And again, he's also a master manipulator. And he has a set on Clarice. His eyes set on Clarice. And also playing a long game. So it's exactly like this, but of course this is YA and a little different. And then next one I got is I Hope You're Listening by Tom Ryan. This one sounds good. It has a podcast element, which I love. That's also one of the main reasons I got this, was because of the podcast element. It says every missing person has a story. In her small town, 17-year-old Delia D. Skinner is known as the girl who wasn't taken. 10 years ago, she witnessed the abduction of her best friend, Sibby, and though she told the police everything she remembered, it wasn't enough. Sibby was never seen again. At night, Dee deals with her guilt by becoming someone else. The Seeker, the voice behind the popular true crime podcast Radio Silent, which features missing persons case and works with online sleuths to solve them. Nobody knows Dee's the Seeker, and she plans to keep it that way. When another little girl in town goes missing and the case is linked to Sibby's disappearance, Dee has a chance to get answers with the help of her virtual detectives and the intriguing new girl at school. But how much of her own story is she willing to reveal in order to uncover the truth? Interesting. I love a good podcast element. And yeah, it sounds really interesting. I haven't read a lot of YA mystery thrillers just because, like, some of them I'm not a huge fan of. They just, like, were, like, eh. But these two sound so good, and I'm so excited to get to them, to get to all of these when I'm in my murder mystery mood, which I'm hoping is pretty soon. This one is not YA, but it's also not kind of like set in the past, so, but it's still kind of like murder mystery, I guess. Anyway, I got Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. I think that's how you pronounce his name, not sure. Anyway, I got this for $3 at the Half Price Books, which is a steal, and it was like really good condition. I like this cover. I was about to get the hardcover, but it was more, which I mean, still not a lot for a hardcover, but it was just like a little more, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it because like I never read it, so I got the paperback because it was only $3, and I was like, okay, I can do that. But it's still a really good paperback too. I like how like floppy it is. I still love this cover. It's the same colors cover as the hardcover, so I was just happy with that. The next two are my book of the month picks. I got one for free because it is my birthday month, so I got a free book for my birthday from book of the month. But the one I chose from the top 5 was The Last Thing He Told Me. So this one is a murder mystery. Actually, no, it's like, this was like a mystery. I don't know too much about it, just that the main character, her husband goes missing, and the only note he leaves behind is protect her or something like that, which he's talking about his daughter, her stepdaughter. And they don't have the best of relationships because of course she's like a stepmother. That happens, but then I guess over time they start getting more along, especially after the father disappears. And in this book, I guess she's trying to figure out where he went, what's going on, and I guess a lot of secrets come to light or stuff like that. I don't know too much about it. I haven't heard too much things about it, honestly, but I have seen Mel from Mel Reads just recently read it, and she gave it 4 stars, which is pretty good. She said it was pretty interesting and pretty good, so I can't wait to read it. The next one I got from Book of the Month for my birthday for free was A Rogue of One's Own by Evie Dunmore. This one is the second book to Bringing Down the Duke. I read Bringing Down the Duke earlier this year, I believe, and I fell in love with it. It was a pretty fast read. There was like some part, like it was kind of slow, or pacing was a little off, but it didn't distract me too much. I still loved it and everything, and I wanted the second book, and I've been wanting it, but I kind of wanted it to match my first one, which was a Book of the Month one, so I wanted to get it off of Book of the Month. And since I had a free thing, I was like, let me just get it, so I got it for free. So yeah, those are my 2 Book of the Month books for May. We're almost done, so good. So the next 2 books are in the same series. I got the box set, and that is Six of Crows. I just have the dust jacket right now because I'm currently reading this book. So, and I'm halfway through it. It's pretty good so far. It is kind of hard to get into at first. I had a little trouble getting into it, but now that we're kind of near the heist part, I'm kind of more into it, but it's still kind of a slow process for me. I don't know why, but I'm still liking it and still enjoying it, so we'll see how it ends, what I think of it. I then also got Crooked Kingdoms, which is the second book to Six of Crows. I've heard mixed things about this, so we'll see how I feel after the first one, and then when I read this one, how I feel. This one is bigger than the first one, but yeah, I can't wait to read this because I'm reading all the whole series of all her books in this world, in the virtual world, so this is part of that. So along the lines of Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdoms, I have Shadow and Bone by Lee Bardugo, which is the books that this Netflix show is based off of, which me and my mom watched so many times and fell in love with it. That's why I watched it so many times. And so I wanted to read the book and continue on with the series, kind of see where it might go from there, and then continue on with Six of Crows, and then I believe the Rule of Wolves or something like that with Nikolai. So yeah, I have Shadow and Bone, and then I have Siege and Storm, and then I have Ruin and Rising, and I read all of them, and I loved them so much. I do have to admit they're not like the best, but it's because of when they were written. But they are good for when they were written. They're YA, so they're pretty good. Like, I gave the first one a 3-star just because like it was just kind of repetitive at the moment because I had just watched the show, and it was pretty much followed the show, or the show followed it pretty good, so it was kind of repetitive. But I mean, that was my fault because I just saw the show, so of course it's gonna be, but it was still pretty good, and it still had stuff that was in the show that kind of like helped, and so I gave it 3 stars, which is decent, and I enjoyed it. And then I read Siege and Storm, and everyone's saying that Ruin Rising was a letdown, was bad, but I didn't really see anything wrong with it. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I don't know. I guess I'm so new to fantasy, and this is like a good place to start because it's not that heavy. It does explain Grisha, like the magic system, but I enjoyed it. I don't see what was wrong with it. I enjoyed it. Now we're almost done. Let's get into the other fantasies and graphic novels I have. The first one being Blade of Secrets by Trisha Levenseller. I've read this. So good. Highly recommend. It's short. So I read this at the end of May. I wasn't planning to. I started this book so I can continue it in June, but because I still have like a few days left in May, but I didn't want to like finish anything else because I was already at my quota for the month. But so I started this. I was like, I'll just start this and then finish it in June. But then I ended up loving it so much that I just continued reading it and ended up finishing it in May, and I absolutely loved it so much. This is gonna be the second one, I think, but at the end of this year or at the beginning of next year, I'm not sure, but I can't wait for it. I really enjoyed it so much. Like, I think I've talked about this before my wrap up, so if you want to see more about that, go check that video out so you can see my thoughts on it. Then I got Prison Healer, or The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni, and I've also too read this, and it was really good. I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, it's not in prison. She's a prison healer. There's this rebel queen that she can't let die because the rebel people and her family are saying that she can't die. And then she's also supposed to be going through these trials, and she just doesn't want her to die, so she takes her place instead because she's too sick to actually go through the trials. And so she takes her place instead. I was guessing something at the end, and I was kind of right, but kind of wrong. Like, close. But I didn't really... It's hard to explain. But yeah, it was really good. It did have a twist. Pretty good twist. And I'm hoping for the second one pretty soon so I can continue. And I just really enjoyed these. Like, I've been on a fantasy kick lately, and I'm really enjoying it, which is weird because I normally don't read fantasy. Fantasy was never my genre. I couldn't really get into fantasies, but lately I've just been in the mood for fantasies. I think it's just I'm going through a rough time, you know, with relationships, so I just wasn't in the mood for more like romance stuff. Even though these did have a little romance, I enjoyed them still, but I also too love the fantasy aspects, and I don't know, I just was craving more fantasy. And so along the line of that, I got Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. I have read pretty much all her other books except for the Throne of Glass series, and I really enjoyed it because I love Akatar. I don't know if you can see it. It's like up in the shelf over. I love it so much, and I love House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City. I can't wait for the second one. I love all those, but I just haven't read Throne of Glass, and I've heard good things about it, except for the first book. Everyone says the first book is not the best. Just push through it, and then you can move on, and it gets better. So I'm hoping for that. I mean, the first one wasn't bad, but yeah, I can see it wasn't the best either. So I gave it 3 stars, you know, mediocre. It was okay for what it was. It was okay. But now I'm going to be going on to Crown of Midnight. I have yet to read this yet, but I will soon, hopefully. And I can't wait to see where the series goes. Because I know, not just spoiling anything, but the 2 main love interests I don't believe are going to be in the future. Because I know one of them gets their own book, and it's not like set in with these characters. I don't know about the other one. So I've been like a little spoiled, but not like too spoiled. So yeah, I'm gonna read that pretty soon. Probably continue on with the rest of the series. I got these for pretty cheap. They're like used books. So I'm trying to find the other books used. If not, I will buy them somewhere, probably Amazon, because Amazon's also pretty cheap. Or I can look at price books or something. We'll see. Then I got Normal People by Sally Rooney. This one is not a fantasy. This one is a romance, but I got it just based off of the recommendation of Chloe from Books with Chloe, and she loved it. She cried. It's also Caitlin's favorite from Kate Literature. So I got this for when I am in the right mindset to read this type of book, which is probably not now, but I'm getting there. But it sounds really good. It's short. Everyone seems to love it, so I can't wait to try it out. Then the next one I got was Heartstopper Volume 3. I read the first 2 volumes, and so I can't wait to continue this. And then I believe after this one, it's people say to read Nick and Charlie the book before, because the 4th one for us in the US doesn't come out until later on this year, but it's already out in the UK. But yeah, so I want to read this and probably read Nick and Charlie's book wherever I can find it before the 4th one comes out for us. As graphic novels, I got Saga Volume 8, and I have 1 through 7. I needed 8 and 9 left, and I also need to read them. So I got this one, and I have read this one. So good. I can't wait to read the 9th because I know they are on hiatus, but I'm hoping they come back soon to finish it, and so I don't have that long wait as other people have had. But yeah, I just love this graphic novel. It is an adult sci-fi fantasy graphic novel. It is really graphic. So don't recommend for everyone, but yeah, I love it. We're almost done here. The next 6 books are from my sister for my birthday, so thank you very much. I love you. I appreciate all of these you got me. I wasn't expecting this much. They like handed me a box and there was 6 in here. I was like, whoa. Like, I just sent her like my Amazon wish list, and I was like, you can pick like a couple, like 2 or 3, but that's fine with me. So let's just get right into it, and thank you so much. I love my sister so much. The first one was Breach of Peace by Daniel B. Green. I don't know too much about this. I saw this on Amazon. It sounded interesting. So basically this is a novella, but usually novellas come after like a series, but these are prequel novellas, like kind of setting up this world to where the series is about to become, if that makes any sense. So it's like, this is a novella, this world, it's prequel, and it's setting up for the actual books. I don't know if that makes any sense. I think there's gonna be either 1 or 2 more novellas before we get to the actual novels, but yeah, these are prequels, and they actually came out before the novels, when usually prequels are coming out after the novels, but they're set before the novels. If that makes any sense. It's so confusing, but it's actually pretty interesting. I've never seen it done like that, so I'm pretty intrigued. She got me was Spellbreaker by Charlie N. Holmberg. This one sounds really good. It has magic, witches, forbidden stuff, a little romance. I'm slowly getting there, so I love a little romance thrown in there. But yeah, it sounds pretty interesting. I did kind of start this like the first chapter, and so far pretty interesting. I'm pretty intrigued. But yeah, I love magic, witches, wizards, all that kind of stuff. She also got me Saga Volume 9, which is the last one I needed, so thank you very much. I have yet to read this one. I need to read this. I will read it soon, and then I am done with the whole series and waiting for more to come out whenever they come back from the hiatus, which I think is pretty soon. I don't know, don't quote me on that, but yeah, I just love the series so much, and look at them, they're so cute. Yes, I'm gonna show you the biggest book of all that I've been wanting to get. I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. This is like high fantasy, and I'm new to that, so we'll see. But I got The Private Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I also just love this cover, and I love the paperback because it's like nice and floppy and freaking huge. But this is a standalone, so that also intrigued me. So I just have to read like this one book and be done with it. I don't gotta worry about this one book, then another one like this one, because it technically is like multiple books in one. It does look kind of like a bind-up, but this is one book, and it's a standalone, and I've heard good things. This is dragons, as you can see on the cover. It follows 2 different timelines, I believe. I believe it's also 2 what's it called, a female romance. I could be wrong, but it sounds super cute. This book, this covers everything. I love this orange, this spine, gorgeous, love it. I'm just scared, bro, but I am also excited to kind of go into like a higher fantasy than what I'm used to. And everyone's been raving about this, so it's gonna take me a while. I'm gonna go through it slow so I can also to try my best to understand it and everything, but I am excited to read this and see what it's about and see if I like it. Thank you so much for this. It's so gorgeous. I love it. The last two books I have here, this is gonna be a long video, I'm so sorry. Before the Devil Breaks You by Libba Bray. This is the third book in the Diviner series. I have yet to read this one. The fourth book is already out, but everyone says the fourth book is not the best, so we'll see. I loved the Diviners. Everyone has. The second one was, I liked it, but I don't know, it was kind of harder for me to get into. Like maybe I waited a while to read it. It was like a big gap, but and I kind of did this with this one too. There's a big gap, but I'm gonna read this anyway because we'll see. I just hate how they changed the cover midway through. But anyway, I'm excited to read this and maybe read the fourth one. I'm not sure because everyone says that that one's was a letdown, so we'll see about that. Last book I received is A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Kemmerer. This is the third book in the Curse of Dark and Lonely series and A Heart So Fierce and Broken, which I have both. I actually haven't read the second one, Heart So Fierce and Broken. I have read A Curse So Dark and Lonely and loved it. I started A Heart So Fierce and Broken, but I haven't finished it, so I'm gonna finish that and then go into A Vow So Bold and Deadly. That is all the books I have for my May book haul. That was a lot, so thank you so much if you had stayed through the whole thing and watched it. If you have read any of these or want to read any of these, please comment it down below. I love to talk with y'all. I have a lot of books to put away now and find rooms on my shelves, but yeah, I'm so thankful for all the books I got, for my sister buying me so many books. I love her so much, and yeah, just happy. It really helped me through some stuff, and it just was a good birthday. I got books and I love books. So thank y'all for watching. I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.